Like, the question that Democrats don't seem to be able to have the balls to answer is just, how many is too many? And, like, infinity is the answer. If you don't give that answer, you're a racist. That's their essential problem with this issue.
Bill Maher has been someone that we have made fun of a ton on this channel, and it's been very, very fun. And obviously, we're going to continue to make fun of him in the future because he's not completely red-pilled. He's not completely anti-woke now, but he's definitely starting to wake up, and he's absolutely destroying the woke side and just the left in general in this video here. This tweet from Colin Rugg says, Bill Maher shreds President Biden's border policy and blasts Democrats for having no balls to confront the border crisis. I haven't heard Bill Maher say one thing he likes about Biden, yet he will vote for him anyway. Probably, most likely. I don't know if he would actually vote for him. I think he's probably one of those guys that is on the third party copium, because we all know that a third party would never win, but people love to say that they're voting for third party because it makes them feel intellectual and things like that. They would never win, you know? But it makes people feel like, oh, I'm smarter than everyone else. I'm not participating in your stupid game. I'm going to vote for RFK or someone, third party, you know, Bernie Sanders, whatever the hell it is. They're never going to win, dude. They're just not going to win. Andrew Yang and all those guys who, I don't even know if they ran third party actually after they were, you know, lost the Democratic nominee. But anyway, Bill Maher strikes me as the kind of guy that's going to go vote third party to make it seem like he's more intellectual than everyone else. But Bill Maher says in this clip, if Biden loses this election, it's going to be because of two things. He's old and he can't get past that issue, and immigration. I don't think they could have handled it any worse. The question that Democrats don't seem to have the balls to answer is just how many is too many. Infinity is the answer. If you don't give that answer, you're a racist. That's essentially, or that's their essential problem with this issue. That's their essential problem with every issue. If you don't agree with them completely, you're some kind of istophobe, and they take everything to the maximum extreme that they possibly can. And if you don't also go to that extreme with them, you're kicked out of the club. That's why people like Bill Maher, like Russell Brand, like Joe Rogan, like Anna Kasparian. Joe Rogan and Russell Brand woke up a long time ago, but Anna Kasparian and Bill Maher are starting to wake up to this nonsense now, and they're destroying the woke cult like Bill Maher is in this video. Let's check out this clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher, of Bill Maher just going off on the left and their mishandling of basically everything. Let's check this out.
There was an actual big story in the news this week about immigration, and I want to get to that because I think if Biden loses this election, it's going to be because of two things. He's old and he can't get past that issue, and people just hate that about him. And immigration. I mean, just on a political level, I don't think they could have handled it worse. Because now what's going on, if you didn't see the news this week, okay, here's what Biden's doing. He's finally, after saying he couldn't do anything, he's going to issue an executive order. By the way, this is the same executive order Trump tried to get through the courts, and they didn't let him do it. But he's going to finally try it 6 months before the election, which says we will put a cap of 2,500 now asylum seekers coming in. If it passes 2,500, if it's 2,501, then we automatically close the border. Fire marshal says, no more. He's going to come here and close the club. And if you don't have a stamp on your hand, you can't get back in. Okay. But when it goes down to 1,500, then we resume standard asylum procedures. It's like surge pricing with Uber. It's a bizarre scheme that, of course...
Which is weird that he's getting applause from his audience on this, because Bill Maher, like, he obviously has cultivated an extremely woke audience, right? If you can't be non-woke and be a Bill Maher fan enough to go to a live show of Bill Maher, because most likely, you know, you're just gonna get brain rot. Like, if I went to a Bill Maher show, there might be one clip of these maybe every other week where he's destroying the woke cult. All of his other shows are destroying the right and, you know, the Trump, the rent-free, Trump living in his head rent-free and just constantly ragging on Trump. Same thing goes for like Whoopi Goldberg and The View and all of them. You can't be non-woke and be a diehard fan. So it's actually kind of surprising that he's getting applause whenever he's criticizing the left and the woke cult. That's surprising to me.
Has pleased nobody. It looks like a last minute, it looks like he did nothing. And of course, he did try through Congress, and the Republicans purposely spiked that football. They didn't.
Well, come on, dude. That's how it works every time. You know, that's how it works every time. That's how it worked under Donald Trump as well. And, you know, Donald Trump, and that's why people say all these politicians, they make all these promises and they get in office and nothing happens. Well, that's why nothing happens, you know, because, yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into like a whole civics lesson, but like that everybody knows that. Like that's why those things happen. But now these Democrats like Bill Maher and the others are acting like, oh, this is a brand new issue. Biden tried to get all this stuff done, and these Republicans just wouldn't let him. Like, come on, man. That happened every time. That happened to Trump too. You didn't give him that excuse though. You didn't give him that benefit of the doubt.
Didn't want this bill because they wanted it as an issue. So they could have fixed it themselves. They didn't. But now it looks like this is his last minute before the election Hail Mary pass, and it's not going to succeed.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not even a Hail Mary pass, though. Yeah. Hail Mary pass, the guy might catch it, right? Doug Flutie did it that one time. He did this knowing that it's going to be declared invalid by the courts.
And it's an admission that he could have done it the whole time, and he didn't. So now you broke it, you bought it, it's on him.
And so it's right there in the Refugee Act saying that if someone comes to the country, they don't have to apply for asylum at a point of entry. They don't have to. It's in the text.
If you enjoy content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
To the law. If you don't like that and think that's crazy, and a lot of Americans do, you got to change the law. You can't just make that happen. Meanwhile, it does nothing to allow for a greater processing of the people who are standing in line. Standing in line, also, you have to use the app, the I Would Want to Come Into the Country app. And you have to do it 3 weeks ahead of time. And you can't do it from your home country. That sounds like it's going to be totally a normal process. That's going to be really easy for vets.
Is that like, is this serious? They're supposed to use an app like when they're coming into the country illegally? Let me know in the comments. Is this like an actual proposition? There's no way this is actually like in place now, right? He's talking about a proposition that Biden is trying to make, the Biden administration is trying to make. There's no way Joe Biden could come up with this. The guy can't even come up with, you know, how to walk off stage properly, how to not poo his pants in front of an audience. Like, there's no way he's coming up with this. But is this an actual proposition of the Biden admin? Because this is nuts, dude. This is absolutely insane.
Venezuelan refugees. This is the biggest refugee crisis in the Western Hemisphere ever. More than like 8 million Venezuelans, for example. That's a ton of people. And we're having 1,500 at border checkpoints that have no ability to process them. It's not going to work.
So since January 2021, when Biden took office, more than 9 million migrants have entered. That's more than the number of people who live in Nicaragua. Wow. He let in all of Nicaragua, equivalent.
Yeah,
and like the question that Democrats don't seem to be able to have the balls to answer is just how many is too many? Right. And like, infinity is the answer. If you don't give that answer, you're a racist. That's their essential problem with this issue.
That's their essential problem with every issue. Like I said earlier, you know, go down any line of thinking that the Democrats or the woke side has. You know, how young is too young to start teaching children about, you know, sex education and, you know, trans people and stuff like that? How young is too young? Oh, there is no too young. You can start them from birth, you know, and then they actually do have parents who will start indoctrinating their kids with like the different toys that they play with and stuff like that, and their lifestyle choices. I don't want to get too specific, obviously, for reasons that I'm sure you can understand, but they'll be like, how young is too young? Oh, there is no too young. And then that trickles over into other things that are weird, where it's like, okay, how inclusive is too inclusive? Well, now we have people who are, you know, minor attracted persons instead of just calling them what they are, you know, PDF files, you know, that's just what they are. But now we have like inclusion of people who do disgusting things that they should be locked up for life, you know, and that's the left's problem with everything. That's why they'll ultimately not have these voices like Bill Maher, Anna Kasparian, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand. That's why they push out these people who have a lot of influence. It's either you wake up and you become a respectable person who can actually disagree, but if you actually disagree a little bit, they kick you out entirely. If you don't agree with everything and you take everything to the maximum extreme, they kick you out of the woke cult, like they're doing with Bill Maher right now, like they did with Anna Kasparian, who forced people, quote unquote, air quotes, forced people to resign from the Young Turks because she wouldn't accept the term birthing person. She wouldn't be called birthing person. Like, it's insane, man. So you either go that far and then you become The View, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, become those people who are just insufferable. Like, I don't know how anyone can watch that show. Or you become someone like Bill Maher, Anna Kasparian, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, people who are actually, I wouldn't say Bill Maher is super respected by the right, but Joe Rogan and Russell Brand are not Republicans, yet they're very, very well respected by people on the right because they're willing to look at things through a common sense lens and recognize when things are just absolutely ridiculous. And that's the road that I think I don't know for a fact, but I think Bill Maher is starting to go down. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher, of Bill Maher just destroying the woke cult and the Democrats. Once again, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this whole Bill Maher situation.